Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Fulham. Going to give you all the questions that I was asked, and I'm going to give you all Solskjaer's responses to them questions. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says Tuesday evening's fixture against Fulham is all about the fans getting back to Old Trafford and enjoying being together. Man United will let 10,000 fans into Old Trafford ahead of the game against Fulham. So anyway, let's get into it. This was the first question that I was asked. So it says, I'd say we've all been waiting for this occasion for when fans come in, but because of what's happened over the past week or so, it's slightly different in the mood and tone. I'm just wondering what your message would be to the Manchester United fans, because clearly it's not the day we all hope to see. It's wrapped in different material, if you like. So Ole's response to that was, well, we've been waiting for a long time to welcome the fans back, and of course the last couple of home games, especially the Liverpool ones, with the protests, it's never nice to see a club that is not united, the fans and the team. So of course we're hoping that Tuesday is going to be a positive day, that we move together, that we play a good game of football, because that's my job to prepare the team to play well and that they enjoy the day. That's important now that we get back and enjoy being together. So yeah, that was Ollie's response to the first question. So this was the second question. Hi Ollie, it's been a busy spell of fixtures, what with back-to-back matches, but how have the team recovered from that defeat last week, both physically and mentally ready for the final two games of the season? So his response to that was, well, I think the previous week or the last week has been draining. The season has been long enough, so I give them 2 days off. Friday, Saturday, they were bright and bubbly this morning, really sharp, and we're looking forward to the end of the season. We're looking forward to playing in front of our fans again. It's a completely different matter, and of course I think the fans coming in will give this game an extra lift and give the players an extra lift, and of course we're very focused on securing the second place. So that was Ollie's response to that. So this was another question. What's the difference between positivity from the fans and negativity? The fans could get behind you and equally they could disrupt you by protesting. What's the difference? So Ollie's response was, I think the mood in any club and the relationship between a team and the fans is vital to what happens on the pitch, where all human beings will react to getting our supporters back in a positive way. They've always been back there, giving us extra energy, and hopefully the players will give the fans a reason to cheer. That's what we have to focus on. It's a big game for us in that respect, since the last time we had fans in against Man City. Great game, the atmosphere was the best I've ever felt in Old Trafford in a league game. The next time we can welcome the fans back in, I hope that it's a positive one. So yeah, that was all response to that one. Now this was another question. When Jose Mourinho said coming second was one of his biggest achievements, he was slightly derided. But do you understand what he was saying, given that the competition now is probably greater than when you were a player amongst more clubs? Would you see it as a great achievement for yourself as well? So all his response was, the competition is a lot harder now than when I was a player. I've got to say, of course you have 3, 4, maybe 5 teams that challenge for the top 2 positions. The last few years, of course, the first 2 positions have been taken by 2 teams, and for us to move into them and divide them, if you like, it's a good performance, but it's not an achievement. You can't say it's an achievement. We've taken steps as a team. We're not where we want to be. We know we have some deficiencies as a group. They are parts of the game we need to improve on, but I felt we've made strides in most places. I've been very pleased with the players this season. I've got to say I've been very impressed by them, but we want to take the next step as well. Again, fair response from Ole. So this was the next question. I know you said about how important second place is just now, but you're 4 points clear of Leicester with a better goal difference, and you're just a week out from the Europa League final. Does it mean you've almost got to wrap a couple of players in cotton wool, especially when we saw what happened to Harry at Villa? So Ole's response was, whatever team I pick, it has to be a team and they have to be players that give everything, because if you go into a game tentative, if you have something else in your mind, you don't fly into the tackles as you should, you don't sprint as normal, you don't maybe focus as much. There's more of a danger of getting hurt in that kind of position. We want to build momentum, we want to build confidence, because of course we've lost the last two at Old Trafford. We don't want to go into an important game with bad momentum or a bad feeling, so we use these two games to get results but also to get confidence. So that was Ole's response to that one. Now this was the other question. You talked about the professionalism of your players, but they're only human, as you said. Isn't it natural that even subconsciously they may be affected by what's happening off the pitch? They had their routine change for the game against Liverpool. These kind of things can surely impact on them. So this was a pretty long response from Ollie to this question. Yes, surely. I just didn't want to use that as an excuse. We lost the two games, but surely it's a reason behind the performances and the results we've had. Physically, it's impossible for them to turn up and play at that intensity and the level that's required because of the amount of games. Then you look at the preparation in between, you haven't had the recovery in between, you haven't had the same routine as you normally do. We haven't done the tactical prep in the same way as we've had. Of course, I'm not saying that it didn't affect them, but was impressed with how professional they were in the way they went about it. There was none of them who complained. That's one of the big things for me, that we never complain, we never look outwards, we just look at what we can do. How can we maximise the situation? We tried to do that, but we couldn't get the results. The players have been good as gold. Now they've had a couple of days off to refresh and be ready, and we prepare as normal for these last two games. Again, very, very good response from Ole on that question. This is another question. This is about the teams Solskjaer picked for the Leicester and Liverpool game recently. So it says, the two teams you picked last week against Leicester and Liverpool would suggest you know what your strongest team is and the players to come in for them. With the Europa League final in mind, I guess are the two final league games this season an opportunity for players to put their hand up for the Europa League? Have you got to lay down a challenge to certain players that these games are their opportunity to play their way into a final team? So the response was, you pick a team to win a game. We need to pick a team for the final. If you want to go to the final 10 days from now, you want players confident, you want players in form, you want players I know I can get everything from. These last two games, of course, is a chance for everyone. If there's any doubt in my head, I think everyone knows I feel I've got quite good competition in most areas and units. I don't think you go into these last two games saving your energy for the final. No, you need to show against Fulham that I'm ready to do my bit for the team, and maybe the Fulham team will be the final team, maybe not. I'm hoping to get Anthony Martial and Daniel James back involved in this game, which is a very good boost for us, and maybe they can start against Wolves. Maybe they're sensational. It's hard to leave players out if they really perform at their highest level. So yeah, Martial is actually back in training ahead of the Europa League final. And Daniel James, I think, is now back. Martial has been out with an knee injury for a while. So yeah, could be involved in this game. This is towards the end of the press conference, so this was another question. A couple of weeks ago, you were quite critical of some media pundits. Maybe you were referring to ex-teammates or ex-opponents of yours. I was just wondering, with Tuesday in mind and the fact it has been quite volatile situation, do you hope the media aspect is handled sensibly, and have you spoken to any of those people or your former teammates about the way they approach their commentary and their observations on this game on Tuesday? Ollie's response to that was, no, I've not spoken to anyone because I've been busy enough looking at the team and preparing the team. Of course, you hope that the game against Fulham is not going to be marred by any violent or over-the-top things, because I know our fans, I know the Man United fans, they're the best fans. I've had such a great relationship with them and they know how to support the team. I don't expect any of the fans coming there and making any trouble. So that was his response to that. And this is the final question that was asked to him. This is regarding Juan Mata. So it says, has a decision been made on Juan's contract yet? Whether he'll be leaving in the summer or whether he'll be with you again next season? Ollie's response was, I've kept a dialogue with Juan and we're due to speak again very soon. Of course, he's not played as much as he'd like, and that's a decision that we'll make with him. He's in charge of his own future and he's been such a good servant for the club, but of course it's hard, as I've said so many times, to leave good players out. Good people out of the team. It's about what does he want as his next step in his career. Is it still play out his career here, or is it going somewhere else? We haven't made a final decision yet. So I don't know what's going to be happening with Juan Mata. I think there's a good chance he will leave Man United this summer. His current contract does expire next month, but there is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. But anyway, that's everything that was mentioned in the press conference. The last time Fulham beat Manchester United was December 2009, 3-0. That was at Craven Cottage. The last time we played Fulham at Old Trafford, we beaten them 4-1. That was back in December 2018. We did beat them at Craven Cottage earlier on this season, 2-1. Fulham have got nothing to play for because they are already relegated. They are a very poor team. Their current manager is Scott Parker. Scott Parker has been Fulham manager now for over 2 years. He's under contract with Fulham until 2023 because he did sign a 3-year deal with them. Fulham appointed Scott Parker in February 2019 to replace Claudio Ranieri because Fulham did sack Claudio Ranieri. I think a lot of Fulham fans will be saying give Scott Parker more time. Obviously Scott Parker got Fulham up from the Championship to the Premier League last season. But obviously now Fulham are back down. They did lose their last game against Southampton 3-1. You know, Fulham have got some decent players in their team. Obviously, you know, Lookman, he's one of their key players. I think he'll be in contention to play in this game tomorrow evening. Cavallero, he's also good for Fulham as well. I think there's a good chance he'll be involved tomorrow. Mitrovic, he's also one of Fulham's key players. I think there's a good chance he'll be involved tomorrow. Bobby Reid, he's another one of Fulham's attackers. You know, he could be involved tomorrow. Mario Lemina, he could also be involved in the game. Fulham got Mario Lemina from Southampton. They've also got Ruben Loftus-Cheek. They got him on loan from Chelsea. You know, he could be involved in the game tomorrow. They've got that Anderson. Kevin McDonald, I think he's actually out with injury at the moment for Fulham. They've got that Congolo, he's out with injury. Kearney, he's also out with injury. Reid has just come back from injury for Fulham. They've also got that Robinson. But I'm expecting Manchester United to win this game comfortably, even though we have been very, very poor at Old Trafford this season. All our defeats have come at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season. We've been far, far better away from home than we have been at home, because we are unbeaten in our last 25 Premier League away games, so we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. But we have got to get back to winning ways against Fulham, because we've had back-to-back defeats at Old Trafford. Obviously, we lost 4-2 against Liverpool not so long ago, and I was disappointed with the 4-2 loss against Liverpool. And we lost to Leicester 2-1. I wasn't really disappointed with the Leicester loss, because obviously Solskjaer played a weakened squad. You know, he did make 10 changes from the 3-1 win against Aston Villa in the game against Leicester. But he had to heavily rotate because of the fixture congestion. But the good thing is that we are guaranteed Champions League football for next season. Our final game is Wolves in the Premier League. And then after Wolves, it's the end of the Premier League season. But yeah, the Europa League is our priority. Solskjaer did a special press conference recently ahead of the game against Villarreal in the final. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is positive that Harry Maguire will recover for the Europa League final. Harry Maguire is out with an ankle injury at the moment. He sustained the ankle injury in our 3-1 win against Villa. And he is a big Mrs. Maguire, because defensively we are shambolic without him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to win his first trophy as Manchester United manager. You know, we haven't won a trophy since 2017, and this is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first major final as Man United manager, and it's our 8th European final. That now, Villarreal are not world beaters, but they are no pushovers, so we do have to turn up and put a good performance out. Be interesting to see how, you know, Solskjaer approaches that game against Villarreal. But, you know, we win the Europa League. You know, that gives us confidence, and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big next season is going to be for himself. Because next season, Solskjaer has got to exceed expectations if he is to remain Manchester United manager. Because if things all go wrong next season, then there's a very good chance that he will get sacked. But I've already said that Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at Manchester United. Obviously, this has been his second full season, but I think he has made very, very good progress. And I think he's our best manager since Ferguson. And you know what? I didn't expect Solskjaer to do as well as he has done. So in that aspect, I am very, very shocked. I'm still very, very sceptical though that he is the long-term manager for Man United. But I hope he's a long-term manager for Man United, and I hope he succeeds as Manchester United manager, because we do love Ole a lot. You know, he's a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. But yeah, a lot of United fans are Ole in, and they believe that he needs more time at the club. Obviously, a lot of United fans have heavily criticised Solskjaer, and a lot of United fans have been demanding him out of the club. Obviously, they've got their reasons behind it. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big the summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. Solskjaer's come out and said that he wants 3 world-class signings in order to make Man United challenge for the Premier League title next season. Solskjaer says we need to strengthen if we are to challenge Man City. It's not long now until the summer transfer window opens. You know, the summer transfer window will be Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. Solskjaer's made it clear that he wants good backing, and he should get the backing that he deserves, because we've got Juan Mata. He's our director of football, and it was the right decision by the club getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes that we needed. And Juan Mata is our first ever director of football. We've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director, and you know, Fletcher knows the club through thick and thin. He endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. And obviously we've got Matt Judge, and Matt Judge has been part of the club for several years. Solskjaer's not been backed enough so far, so it's very imperative that Solskjaer gets the players that he wants to recommend in the summer transfer window. I've already identified the areas where Man United need to strengthen up. But yeah, there's a lot of players that Man United are looking at. Now, earlier on today, I give you the news regarding, you know, Jesse Lingard and Harry Kane. The Athletic said that Man United could swap Jesse Lingard for Harry Kane. That would be a very good swap deal. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made his final decision on Jesse Lingard's future. Solskjaer is ready to sell Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard wants a permanent move away from Manchester United anyway. Lingard is obviously out on loan at the moment with West Ham. Since he's gone out on loan to West Ham, he's made a fantastic impact. Obviously, West Ham want to get him permanently. The reason we loaned Lingard out in January is because he got frozen out of our squad. It's also said that Man United could launch a bid for Harry Kane as early as this week. I think we're expecting to put around a £90 million bid in. Not so long ago, it says the Glazers were planning to sanction a £90 million bid. It recently said Harry Kane is ready to ask Tottenham to listen to transfer offers for him this summer. I think we're going to have to make an offer of at least 120 million to convince Tottenham to offload him. Quite a few weeks ago, Harry Kane came out and said that he wants to win team trophies. He said that after Tottenham's Carabao Cup final defeat to Man City. You know, Tottenham have not won a trophy for 13 years. Don't forget, Kane did say earlier on this season that he will ask to leave Tottenham if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. But he said Kane's decided that he wants to stay in the Premier League if he decides to leave Tottenham. It's been us and City that have been in for him, and he said at one point PSG were looking to be us and City to the signing of Harry Kane. Harry Kane was leading the way for this season's Golden Boot. I don't think he's leading the way now. I think Mohamed Salah's leading, or the level. Harry Kane has won the Golden Boot a couple of times at Tottenham, reflecting on his good performances. Kane has been at Tottenham for 17 years. He's been in their senior squad since 2009, and he's under contract with Tottenham until 2024. I'd take Harry Kane at Man United, even though it'd cost us a substantial amount, because Kane would assure us goals. He's well proven in the Premier League, and he's very good at creating chances, and he's regarded as one of the best strikers in the world. He's had loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. And we are still in search for a striker despite Edinson Cavani signing a one-year contract not so long ago. So Cavani is staying at Man United for next season. There's a good chance that Man United will sign Jadon Sancho in the summer transfer window. Jadon Sancho to Man United is close. Jadon Sancho expects to complete a move to Man United this summer, and he wants to come to Manchester United because the Manchester Evening News said not so long ago that Sancho is pushing for a transfer out of Borussia Dortmund. Man United are the favourites to sign Sancho. It recently said we are ready to launch a bid in the region of 65 million to 75 million for Sancho. I think Dortmund are looking for around £85 million. I think that's still reasonable though for Sancho. Jadon Sancho's representatives are more confident than ever that Sancho will join Man United this summer. Dortmund confirmed earlier on this season that they've got a gentleman's agreement with Sancho over a possible transfer. Not so long ago though, Sancho admitted he's unsure where his future lies, and Fabrizio Romano came out the other week and said that, you know, Sancho would be 100% happy to join Man United this summer, because he did mention that Sancho was keen on a move to Man United last summer. And don't forget, last summer Sancho was our #1 priority target, and last summer Sancho to Man United was extremely close. And you already know the news regarding Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. You obviously know the news regarding the Glazers. Obviously Solskjaer's come out and said that the fans' protest have affected the players. Solskjaer did say not so long ago that the Glazers apologised to him. He did say that the violent incidents went too far, but he says the club need to take notice of the fans. Not so long ago, Solskjaer was angry with Gary Neville over the Man United protest. You know, Gary Neville's had quite a few things to say on it. Not so long ago, Joe Glazer wrote a letter to Man United fans. And the other week, Avram Glazer refused to apologise over the European Super League. Sky News caught up with him in Florida, but he refused to answer any questions. But yeah, our fans were protesting against the Glazers ahead of the game against Liverpool not so long ago. I presume they'll be protesting against the Glazers ahead of this game against Fulham, and they were protesting against the Glazers on the 2nd of May. that's when we should have actually played Liverpool, but the game got postponed because hundreds of our fans went inside Old Trafford to protest against the Glazers, and they invaded the pitch. Earlier on this season, our fans protested against the Glazers at Carrington, and some of our fans blocked entrances into the Carrington training ground to protest. And there was holding banners up. Will the Old Trafford protests force the Glazers out of the club? I'm hoping so. It said not so long ago, though, that the Glazers have got no intentions of selling Man United, but there again it said they could be forced to sell the club, but for only £4 billion. Joe Glazer released a statement earlier on this season apologising to club fans over the European Super League plans, because the Glazers were planning to ditch the Champions League for the European Super League. The Glazers bought Man United for £500 million back in 2005, and they have been at the club now for 16 years. But we get them out, it will be the right decision, because they've put us in so much debt, and I hate the way the football club has been run in general now for a long time, so we've got to recommend new owners in. You know the news regarding Ed Woodward as well. Woodward's going to be standing down at the end of the year, because it got announced earlier on this season that Woodward resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. I presume all United fans were happy with the news regarding Woodward, because we've been very critical of him for a long time. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.